I am so stoked right now. It's ridiculous. Because I haven't made a video in a few days, and I see that TikTok has brought back its 10-minute video. Super excited. So stay tuned for other longer Bible studies. So super stoked. Okay. The lesson of today is love your enemy as you love yourself. Or let's put it in a different way. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So God has put it on my heart for a couple of weeks now to make this video, but out of my stubbornness, I have not made the video. And the reason is that I have a neighbor, my next door neighbor, and I live in a place where like the end of the street is my house. That's my driveway. I really don't have any neighbors except for the ones, obviously down the street, but I don't have like two direct neighbors. So I have one right next door. And over time, they weren't always my neighbor. I would say maybe like half of the 3 years that I've lived here, they lived here, maybe a little bit longer. But they are very unfriendly. They're constantly like, we wave, we smile, we say hello, and they just completely ignore us. I mean, you would think common courtesy says yes, hello, wave, or whatever, especially if you have to live next door to these people. So I recently closed a couple of storages and had to bring some items here. Well, that meant like we were unloading things, and we weren't in the way, at all, but them just being unfriendly just made the situation a little bit worse. So on this particular day, these individuals started cussing at us. And God, my inner self, my former self, I guess I should say, wanted to say really horrible things. But I have to say that God kept my tongue pretty tamed that day. I did say, you have not been good neighbors whatsoever. But I wanted to say much worse things than that. And I was grateful. I always tell God, like, thank you for keeping me from myself. Thank you for not answering that prayer or just making me more like you. And I have to say I was very grateful that day. So anyway, the point is, in Mark chapter 12, verse 31, Jesus says, the second of the most important commandments, the first being, there's no other God before our God. God is number one. But the second is, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There's no other commandment greater than these. And that is very hard sometimes. So if anyone is out there struggling with loving your neighbor, or individuals who keep pestering you, or you just have that neighbor. I mean, my neighbor, like one Christmas season, they left all the lights on all night long, and that was right next to my bedroom window. The guy is constantly working on his car at 3 a.m. At 6 a.m, he revs his motorcycle right outside of my window. So you can see how I've been struggling with this. And so I just have to say, one of the things that came up during the confrontation the other day was, my mom, she's, she can be so nutty sometimes, but she says, I'm just going to pray for you guys and, and just let God handle it. And their actual reaction was, we don't believe in God. And it's like, exactly, it's very evident. But what we have to remember is we can't expect non-believers to behave as believers. And so that is the whole point here. We can't expect non-believers to behave as believers. And so the only thing that we can really do for them is to be an example with our Christian lives and continue to pray for them, because we know they're lost. We know that they are not of God. We know that they're not saved. And so let's just keep that in mind, that we need to love our neighbors as ourselves. Think about it this way. If you weren't saved, what you know now, you would want them to pray for you. So let's continue to pray for our enemies, pray for our neighbors, and love them as we love ourselves. All right, I hope this helps someone.